So for this installment of Studio Ghibli Week, or Ghibli Week, whichever way you want to pronounce it, we are going to be doing My Neighbour Totoro. Of course, it's the classic movie that the first thing everyone thinks about when you think about Studio Ghibli, and it even has a worm that was discovered in Vietnam named after the main character, the iconic character in this movie. So you know for sure that this movie is impactful. It's something that is such a lovable movie. It's a movie that really like made me smile at the end of it. I want to start by going into the background of this movie. So actually, the whole thing is set in post World War Japan, and it's a very rural area of it, and it's where two little girls are staying with their father, and their mother is stricken with an illness, and she's in the hospital. So already right off, you know that like the family is not whole right as of now. This lends an element of uneasiness in a sense and fear. So these elements throughout the movie are constantly being harped upon and reflected upon of how to confront it. In essence, these two girls confront the spirits with a lot of excitement and happiness, and it erodes the fear from it. So when Mei discovers Totoro and all of Totoro's friends, which is like the smaller Totoros, and when she finds herself on the belly of the large Totoro, I mean, he seems to be quite scary, especially when he opened his mouth really wide, and like as if he was about to eat her, and he just like roared in her face. And Mei responded. He roared back at Totoro, and Totoro was really like shocked by how she responded to him. And that lent a very cute and comical moment for something that could have been very spooky and scary. This harps back to a point that actually the dad told his two children. These two kids were scared about the storm, but he chuckled and told them, roughly translated, that when in the face of fear, you should laugh and make light of the situation, and it wouldn't be as bad or as difficult to cope with as it would if you just internalize it. And internalizing it is something that we do a lot. My Neighbour Totoro encourages us to speak out about our feelings, to be more expressive. At many scenes when Totoro was with the children, he will always make a lot of noise. He will be I don't know how will I say it? He'll be either roaring, or he'll be jumping up and down and creating a lot of noise to lighten the mood, to share the emotions with the rest of the people around him. And finally, I would like to talk about the impactful scene which impacted me the most. It's one of the most prominent pictures that you will see, and it's Satsuki carrying Mei and holding an umbrella over the two of them, while Totoro stands next to them, a big giant beast like him, with a single leaf on his head, and it is raining. It's actually both these sisters waiting for their father to come back, but not sure of when he's gonna come back. And it gets a bit daunting at some points when there's a lot of silence, there's a lot of uneasiness when the two of them are looking at each other and just waiting as the rain continues pelting on them, as Mei gets tired and sleepy, and Satsuki has to carry her on her back. And finally, as a sort of a relief, you see Totoro actually from Satsuki's perspective as she lifts the umbrella up and she sees, whoa, a giant spirit right next to her. And this is the first time she sees Totoro, and Totoro immediately makes light of the situation by just standing there with a leaf on his head. And when Satsuki passes the umbrella to Totoro, Totoro is overjoyed and jumps up and down in a comical scene where he makes all the rain go away by jumping up and hitting the ground so hard that all the rain falls to the ground immediately and there's no more rain. So all these scenes with a lot of noise, with a lot of it's a time where you get to feel relief and it's truly what I think the message of Totoro, My Neighbor Totoro, is bringing to us, is that you don't have to keep it all in. And fear and being scared is something that both adults and children face. But something that we should always not forget is that it's okay to express how you feel. It's okay to sometimes just shout or just like let it out, so that and it's a 1,000 times better to yourself than keeping it in. And that's My Neighbor Totoro for you. If you haven't watched it yet, like me, please sit down and check it out. It's a great movie.